Emotional intelligence is described as the ability to identify and manage your emotions and the emotions of others. Scientist, journalist, author, and psychologist Daniel Goleman popularized the concept of emotional intelligence, EQ, in 1995. In his book, Emotional Intelligence, Why It Can Matter More Than IQ, Daniel Goleman's emotional intelligence theory outlines 5 components of EQ, that is self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skills. Hi, this is Clarity Coach Lucy, and this is Tuesday Talks at 3. Welcome to the EQ and Me series, episode 2. Now, in our last episode, we looked at the importance of emotional intelligence. We were able to work out how self-awareness is key through 2 tools: emotional self-awareness and accurate self-assessment. Our takeaways encouraged us to identify and journal our emotions, identify the triggers, and be aware of our capabilities. In this episode, we seek to understand how to manage our emotions, and we continue to borrow from Daniel Goleman's theory of EQ. I'm just going to check and see that indeed we are live. I'm just checking on that. And let us see. Okay. Looks like perhaps we're not yet tuned into here. It's a bit slow today. And then we are live. We are live. Fantastic. Welcome, Kavi, and welcome, Nancy. Took a moment there to just get us on. Well, in this episode, like I said, we seek to understand how to manage our emotions, and we continue to borrow from Daniel Goleman's theory of EQ. The question today is, are your emotions hijacking you? And I really would love for you to respond in our thread. Are your emotions hijacking you? Or perhaps you do not understand what it means to be hijacked by emotions. Well, I'll take us back to episode 1, where we were looking at emotional self-awareness. Emotional self-awareness, one of the tools that I gave you was emotional self-awareness. And one of the tasks was for you to just write down throughout the day, to journal what kind of emotions come into play throughout your day. I warned you that there are many emotions that you go through in a day. In fact, you go through an emotional roller coaster. You will be happy one moment, anxious another moment, sad, you'll be excited, you'll be overwhelmed, you'll be sad, all in a day's work of emotions. But then being self-aware is you putting down these emotions. That is the first step. It's important that you're aware of these emotions so that you know how emotions play a huge role in your life. We are emotional beings, and everything that we do is led by an emotion. So even as we begin to think something, an emotion comes in. When we are reacting to something, an emotion comes in. In fact, we're encouraged at times to not think with our hearts, but to think with our minds, to have a rational mind if we have to make a decision. But this is easier said than done. We're emotional beings, and therefore we will experience emotion. Now, the trick is recognizing these emotions and choosing which emotion to apply in that instant. So you may be engulfed by emotions. That is when emotions are hijacking you. I hope that understanding now comes clearly. So you could be somewhere and you have got these waves of emotions happening to you all the time, because you are free-spirited and you're allowing this force to enter into your life. You're allowing it and you are sitting in that space. Like we said in episode 1, you have the power to control these emotions by choosing which emotion you want to experience in that very instant. The example that we gave in episode 1 was if you woke up in the morning and you were experiencing a certain emotion, you had an option of either changing this emotion to a total opposite. If you were feeling perhaps anger, anxiety, unhappiness, then you were choosing joy, which is a total opposite of what you were feeling. And you asked yourself, what do I need to do to stay joyful throughout the day? And I gave you some examples of what you need to do during the day. You need to go back to the YouTube channel and just look at this episode. It will give you the tips that I shared with you. We did say that our takeaways included identifying and journaling these emotions. That's what it is about. Experiencing them and writing them down, and you will not get all of them down, but you will get some down. And then the next step was identifying the triggers. What made you feel this way? Identify the triggers, write them down. Now you're aware. You're not just going through life experiencing emotions. You're now understanding the emotions you experience, and you're also aware of what triggers them. So even as the trigger begins to happen or just take place, you already know what kind of emotion is going to follow. And in that instant, you can make a decision whether that's the emotion you want to experience in that instant or you want to change it. We then moved on to accurate self-assessment and just understanding what your capabilities are. What are the things that have to happen in life for you to maintain a certain kind of emotion? So on my YouTube page, LMC Consultancy, episode 1 is already uploaded. Please go in there and like and share and even comment. Now in this episode, we are looking at how we can manage those emotions. So now back to the question, are your emotions hijacking you? And let's have a look at any of the questions that have been shared or comments. Nancy says, we are getting you loud and clear. Thank you so much, Nancy. Irene, Irene, welcome back. It's been a minute. Greetings and good afternoon to everyone. Thank you so much for being here, ladies. And I wish you a blessed International Women's Day today as we celebrate women. And today we look at emotions and whether they're hijacking you. Just by our gender, emotions are our makeup. We are emotional beings, and we want to be able to understand how to optimize them. Whatever is happening in our lives, how can we manage them? It is important that as you're managing these emotions, that you ask yourself one question. Am I accountable for these emotions? Am I accountable? Why accountability? Because accountability is an offshoot of you being true to yourself. If you have had a look at my self-awareness series, I talk about accountability. I talk about integrity, which I'm going to come to in a minute. So are you true to yourself? Are you the person who you say that you are? Whether it is in your thoughts, whether it is in your actions, whether it is in where you find yourself, what you watch, what you read, who you hang out with. Are you true to yourself? First and foremost, do you know who you are? In our last episode, we considered whose life are you leading? Whose life are you leading? This is where you are true to yourself. Whose life are you leading is a question that came out when we looked at accurate self-assessment. Knowing who you are and what makes you, you is vital. So a lot of things come into play when you're looking at yourself and understanding who you are. Your characteristic. Now, your characteristics are both positive and negative. In previous sessions and episodes, I have talked about the shadow self. The shadow self, just like we say the shadow that follows you, is that dark side that follows you. That is what we would call in quotes, your bad side. We cannot push this side under the carpet. What we need to do is acknowledge it, know that it exists, and be in control of it, because the more we push it under the carpet, one day it will show up and we'll have no control about that situation. So you want to know what your characteristic is, what you're capable of, what is your capacity when your buttons are pushed. So your characteristics will be both good and bad. And I do hope for those of you who have followed me religiously that you have written these down and you're already using them in your daily lives. You know that when your buttons are pushed, this is what comes out. You even know that you can control that. Your values. What are your values? Because your values applied become the ethics, the things that you live by, your moral ethics. So what values do you live by? I gave the example of how when I carry out my coaching sessions, I ask people to go out and get values about themselves from friends, from family, from loved ones, and see how that varies from the values that they have about themselves. And the relationship they're going to have when they get this feedback, how do they feel? So values, are they yours? Are they somebody else's? Your principles, what do you stand up for? What do you believe in? In the best of situations, will you stick by your value principles or will you bail? Knowing who you are and what makes you you is vital. This includes your limiting beliefs. Your limiting beliefs being those thoughts that come up in mind, that inner critic, those negative thoughts in your mind that stop you from transcending. They paralyze you. So living someone else's life is not being truthful to self. We agreed on this statement in the accurate self-assessment in episode 1. So today, I submit to you that living someone else's life is living a lie. It will never sit well with you, especially when you look at your values. So when you do something, you're not going to feel comfortable doing it or the outcome of having done it because it doesn't resonate with your being. You know there's something wrong. This is the time to step back and realize that perhaps you're living somebody else's life, hence you're living a lie. And this is where accountability and integrity come in, because now you lack integrity when you do this. You lack integrity when you choose to live somebody else's life. And for many reasons, we do this as human beings. We choose to live other people's lives because we're not comfortable with our own lives. And we're not comfortable with our own lives because we have used a measuring stick of what our lives should be like. And it is a very society that we subscribe to that we use as a yardstick to measure our own lives, and then we're not satisfied. We decide we have to have a certain level of education. We decide we have to have a certain standard of life. We decide that we have to have certain kind of friends around us. We have to dress in a certain way. We have to work in a certain office or run a specific business by this time, with these people, under these conditions. The society informs it for us. How about informing it for yourself? Informing how you should dress, who you should be with, which office you should be working in, what education level you should have. This way you can sit well with those decisions. Same thing with values. Choose the values that you want to subscribe to and work towards them. At times we're not born with these values. The good news is we can learn values. We can. Characteristics are another story. So integrity is one way to manage your emotions, but you may ask me how. I'm just going to have a look and see whether we have any more comments here. Irene says, Happy International Women's Day to you, Lucy. Thank you so much, Irene. Maria and Jerry, welcome back. Good to see you, and happy International Women's Day to you too. So integrity is one way to manage your emotions. And yes, you may ask me, how do I do that, Lucy? How do I then apply integrity and emotions and just make it work? I would like you to revert to your journal of emotions and see what they are. It's so important to go back to that list. And if you didn't have an opportunity to do this, start here and now. What emotion are you feeling right now listening to me? What emotion are you feeling when somebody is trying to call you and you're listening to me? What is going on around you that could be distracting you or attracting your attention? That your mind is going there. What emotion are you experiencing? What decision do you have to make right now that is pulling you towards an emotion? Because remember, the emotion is the first thing that comes to mind. We are human. We're emotional beings. Start writing down those emotions in your journal, piece of paper, or on your phone. At least start that today. And by tomorrow, revisit this recording here on Facebook or on my YouTube channel. And now relate those emotions to that journal that you're writing down and say, yes, these are the emotions that I have been experiencing. Now, in the same breath, as you write down those emotions, as you recognize these emotions, I would like you to consider the emotions that you would like to experience. So you're thinking ahead and you're being proactive. We are building up a bank of emotions so that we are not in reactive mode, but in proactive mode when it comes to our emotions. So what emotions would you like to experience? I would love for you to share with me here on the chat. What kind of emotions would you love to experience? I'll just give you at least 30 seconds to write down a few emotions that you would like to experience. So Kavi, what emotions would you like to experience? Nancy, what emotions would you like to experience? Irene, what emotions would you like to experience? Maria, what emotions would you like to experience? Share with me here and let's just sample some of these emotions. Today we are looking at the question, are your emotions hijacking you? As we take apart self-management and understand how to manage our emotions. And now I've asked you to just sample with me the emotions that you would like to experience so that we can have a look at them. I was just giving you a few seconds to do that. What emotions would you like to experience? Okay, our 30 seconds are up and I don't see any interaction on the thread. Maybe you're thinking about your emotions and which ones you'd like to experience. This exercise alone tells us that because we are human, the emotions that were coming to mind for you were already the negative and the dark emotions. This is how we are wired. We are not wired to have happy thoughts. And I want you to be intentional. We're not wired to have happy thoughts. If I had changed that question and I said, what emotions do you want to get rid of? I would have had the answers really running on this thread. But this exercise itself just tells you that we are wired to think the negative. So I want us to change this and I want us to consider positive emotions. There we go. Irene. Okay, Irene, I'm not seeing the answer to the question. Instead, I am seeing, how do you deal with emotions that are triggered by some of the things that are happening in our community? That is true. It is a very unfortunate time that we have gone through in the last few hours in our country, Kenya, in our city, Nairobi. And it's a matter of how do we deal with these emotions. However, before we get to that, my point here on the table is that the question was, what emotions would you like to experience? And automatically we would go into negative emotions. We would not be asking a question about how do we react to emotions when we see children laughing and playing? How do we react to emotions when we see somebody giving of themselves to other people? We would go into negative emotions. And Irene, I can see from your question, this is exactly what I am trying to prove, that this is where we go. When we think of emotions, we go through the negative emotions that are welling up within us. We want to take back control. And yes, unfortunate things will happen in our world around us. But how do we control these emotions that come up and that we do not live in that moment of that emotion? Because bad things will happen. But ladies, good things happen too. Nancy, you come back and you say joy and calmness. Fantastic. Irene, we've put in peacefulness. Fantastic. These are the emotions that we would like to experience. My question then to you now is, what will it take to keep these emotions and be true to them? What will it take to keep these emotions and to be true to them? So I'll go back to Irene's question. Now, Irene's question is, how do you deal with emotions that are triggered by some of the things that are happening in our community? For example, the border rider and the young lady. Of course, the kind of emotions that are coming out here are hard emotions. Sadness, there's anger, there's hopelessness and helplessness. There's feelings of emotions that we cannot even begin to express, like depression. We want to hit back. We want to give vengeance back. But now with the answers that we have used, with the positive emotions that we have brought up, if that is how you started your day, then how is it that you want to maintain that particular joy, calmness, and peace in the face of what is happening in the community? Only you have the answer to that, because how badly do you want to maintain your peace? How badly? If it means that you're going to experience anger as an emotion so that you can do something about what happened in Nairobi and the border incident, then you're going to use that anger in that moment and do something about it. For instance, you're going to start off a survey. You're going to start off a movement that is going to get people to be aware of what is happening, and something can be done about it. The right people who can do the important things and change this narrative will hear you. But you are choosing anger in that moment for a short amount of time to make a difference so that you can maintain your peace. You can maintain your joy, that you can know that as a woman, you can drive around the streets of Nairobi, and what happened to this unfortunate young lady does not happen to you or to any other woman. I hope that answers the question, Irene. It is what we are choosing. I like what Nancy is saying, having a positive mindset, doing to others what I would like to be done to myself. Very true. You would like to support people. I come back to this incident again as I continue to answer Irene's question with ideas of how to move forward with that emotion that is welling up in you. Do unto others what you would like to be done unto yourself. Create a support group for the woman. Reach out to her. Help her, because right now she's very traumatized wherever it is that she is. What are you going to do about the situation to be able to keep your emotion in a positive state of mind? It is these negative emotions that are making us act the way these people on borders acted. If many of us could think about the positive things in life and strive to maintain those emotions in our lives, these incidents would be much less and far removed from where they are today. So what will it take to keep these emotions and be true to them? How are you going to be true to peacefulness? How are you going to be true to joyfulness? So we're looking at matters accountability, and we're calling it integrity. The other one is responsibility, because once you decide that this is what I'm going to go for and you're true to it, you need to be responsible. Taking responsibility, personal responsibility, means being aware of the emotions that can overtake you. You can be overtaken by anger, jealousy, vengeance. You can be overtaken by anxiety, sadness, depression. And like I said in episode 1, we looked at identifying and journaling our emotions and knowing what the triggers are. So let's ask ourselves, what are the triggers? Is it heinous acts like this one in our community that make us feel in this way? Could it be that? And therefore we are overtaken by the negative emotions? Could it be injustices that are met upon people in the same community or in my personal life that makes me have this emotion that overtakes me? Could it be a sense of hopelessness and helplessness because I cannot do anything? You can see a loved one very ill and there's nothing you can do about it, and emotions just overtake you. Knowing what they are and taking responsibility for that is your second step. I can see that Kavi has added in, look at ourselves. What values do we share as parents? That's a deep thought right there, Kavi. What values do we share as parents? How does it show up in our actions? Is it lip service? Do we say one thing and we do another? Is that what it is? Our children are watching us because children watch and they learn in this way. Children hear and they learn. Children see and they learn. So Kavi, yes, what values as parents are we showing our children? Are we speaking about values of integrity and in the next instant, we are doing something that is not true to self? And our children are watching, they're listening. Limiting beliefs are definitely not the truths about you. They are mythical. One must challenge these limiting beliefs and change the narrative. One limiting belief is that, but everybody is doing it. Therefore, you do it. This is mythical. You need to challenge this. Just because everybody else is doing this particular turn that is wrong, and you know it is wrong, and you know it doesn't sit well with you because it is a value that is not yours. Challenge it and choose a value that sits well with you so that you are true to self. So when we're looking at our emotions, we're looking at these two steps, integrity and personal responsibility. So when your inner critic tells you that you cannot do something because you're not cut out for it, you want to question it. Challenge the inner critic and apply action plans to overcome it. So let us revert the emotions that we want to experience: peaceful, joy, calmness, like Nancy has shared, like Irene has shared. Again, I say, what will it take to keep those emotions and be true to them? It takes a lot. It takes integrity, that is you being true to yourself. It takes accountability and responsibility. You have to answer to these values. When somebody steps up and challenges you, you want to be able to answer them. And taking on what Kavi is asking, as a parent, when a child asks you, why are you acting in this way? You take responsibility, personal responsibility, and you answer that question. Emotions are powerful and can paralyze us and render us puppets of the unconscious mind, where our limiting beliefs reign. In the same way that our actions will come from a place of our own experiences, and that is where we are saying that they are mythical. We have to challenge those experiences. Did it really happen that way? Or in that moment, did I perceive it to happen that way? What was happening around me that I perceived the outcome to be this way, and therefore I made it a truth to self? Challenge it. And you may find that all your mind was doing was protecting you time and time again. So choosing to consciously take back control is what you need to do. How can you take back control? By knowing what is happening in that very moment and choosing to take control. So you're in a situation right now and your emotions are hijacking you. In that instant, freeze. Stop doing what you're doing. Stop it. Stand still. Do something physical if that is what is going to ring a bell for you. Freeze. Take in what is happening around you so that you don't form another limiting belief. Stop in that instant. Freeze. Take stock of what is happening around you. See yourself stepping back. Step back from that instant and ask yourself, how should I think or feel in this moment? Ask yourself, how should I think or feel in this moment, in this instant? By so doing, you're choosing to take back control because the hijacking emotions have come on. You have felt them coming on. They're overwhelming, but you have frozen in that instant and you've asked yourself, how should I think or feel in this moment? You can now go back to that bank of good feelings, the feelings of joy, peace, calmness that you have chosen to have in your bank, and pull them out and choose to feel that. But I'm quick to say that perhaps all those good emotions are not going to make you sit well with yourself, because your principles and the things that you believe in need you to get annoyed in that instant and do something about it so that you can enjoy your calmness, your joy, and your peacefulness. So negative emotions are not all that bad. It is how you apply them. Negative emotions are not a place that you want to go and live in and wallow in. You want to use them for a specific amount of time, a time that you have dictated and you have said, for the next 10 minutes, I am going to be angry so that I can execute X, Y, Z, and then choose to step out of it. By so doing, when you step out of it, you have actually taken control. And when you take control, you are aware of what you need to be doing. But many times we don't choose to take control. Many times we choose, it is easier just to wallow in the negativity. So let us look at an example. I don't see any more comments. Remember, our question today is, are your emotions hijacking you? So for example, your relationship with someone has come to an end. So whether it is a love relationship, a working relationship, a social relationship, whatever it is, your relationship with someone has come to an end. How do you feel? What emotion wells up, or what emotions well up? How do you feel when this happens? Because this happens to us very often when relationships with someone, or maybe even something, comes to an end. Take a moment and think about it. What feelings come up? What emotions come up? And if you can share them with me here on the chat, what emotions come up? And just think about it. Why are these emotions coming up? And we're going to sample that in a bit as we wait to see what comes up in the chat. So what you choose to feel in that moment is what will propel you to move forward. In that moment, when you feel you've lost something or something has come to an end, whatever you choose to feel in that moment is what will propel you to move forward. Remember, we're looking at taking back control. Whatever it is that you choose to feel in that moment is the energy that you are using up. So wherever that energy is, you're going to feel that you're going to flow towards. You're going to flow towards a specific thought in your mind, a specific place. You're going to find yourself there naturally because you have chosen this place. So what you choose to feel in a moment is what will propel you forward. Your power to direct your thoughts in that direction lies within you. No one else can give you that control. But you can give up that control to somebody else, and in this case, to emotions. I encourage you to look at things differently and have another perspective to what is happening. So my question had been, and I don't see anything on the chat yet. My question had been, if you were to lose a relationship today, it has come to an end, how would you feel? What emotions do you feel would well up? And whatever it is you choose in that moment will propel you to move forward. This is where your energy will flow towards. I'm not seeing anything moving on the chat, so I will proceed. I'm encouraging you to look at another perspective. Look at it differently. Freezing and looking at things differently is another way to manage your emotions and not letting them hijack you. So if this relationship has come to an end, have you considered that it was about time that this relationship came to an end so that new doors are opened, new opportunities come knocking? Have you considered that this relationship was blocking you from your potential? Have you considered that The peace that you're looking for, the calmness and the joy, was being robbed by the power that you had given this relationship. Have you considered that? This is looking at things in a different perspective. Just because you're in a relationship doesn't mean you are meant to be in that relationship. Boundaries are needed. Maybe you needed to end this relationship. And now that you have had, let your energy flow towards the potential of what has happened by you breaking up this relationship or coming to an end with this relationship. It's another way to look at things. You'll be amazed how much energy we put in the wallowing of self-pity because a relationship has come to an end. Again, I ask you, what emotions came up when a relationship broke? Or what emotions do you think would come up? Freezing and looking at things differently is another way to manage your emotions and not letting them hijack you. Everything has a start and has an end. New beginning-ish. I see. Irene has said something here. Relief and a sense of freedom from whatever was happening there. Yes, new beginnings. Exactly. That's another way to look at things. New beginnings. You can also look at the fact that your work is done. You came into that relationship for a season. Your work is done. Give yourself a pat on the back and move on. So I take you back to taking control of situations. And I give another example. Perhaps you have lost yet another business opportunity. How else can you look at it? And I suggest to you, it could be that you need a change of attitude. Perhaps the attitude you're applying to this vision of this business is not the right one. Perhaps your vision or your attitude needs to be tweaked. It could be that you need a change of values. The values that you're applying in this business need to be tweaked. Again, looking at things differently. Perhaps it's a change of pace. You need to look at doing things differently in your business, or a change of environment. You need to move this business from this environment to another. Is it your social setting? I hope I'm opening up your mind to looking at things differently. So I ask you again, what emotion keeps coming up? How else can you look at it? So if depression keeps coming up, how else can you look at it? Why am I in this situation? Do I need to have a change of heart, a change of attitude, a change of values? Do I need to change where I live, who I hang out with? You are in control. Only you can take back this control. We've looked at taking back control. Another one that I would like us to look at is, what is it that we are seeing right in front of our eyes? And yet somehow we're not seeing it. Most of the time, the writing is on the wall. But for whatever reason, we do not see it until it's too late. It is said, hindsight is 20/20 vision. This is the full knowledge and complete understanding that one has about an event only after it has happened. Only after it has happened, yeah? I can hear Irene here saying, I hear you. I know exactly how this feels and what this means. Nancy, you're adding in that hate, anger, sadness. I hear you, Nancy. Tomorrow is a new day. Exactly. Exactly. When a relationship comes to an end, when a season comes to an end, another way to look at it is tomorrow is another day. We live to fight another day. There's so many ways that you can choose to respond to that with your emotions, but you are in control. Like Irene says, that she knows how that feels and what it means to her. This is her life, not somebody else's life. So back to the writing on the wall. Hindsight is 20/20 vision. Most of the time, the writing is on the wall, but for whatever reason, we don't see it until it's too late. And you start telling yourself, but I knew this. I saw this. I didn't react in this way. And if you had, perhaps things would have been different. Perhaps, we don't know. It's us taking back control. So let us consider some factors that affect our emotions. What kind of emotions do you experience? Some of them could be just as a result of what you're going through, what you're experiencing at the moment. That's why these emotions are coming. And I just love to read some of them in the chat, which was hate, anger, sadness. There was joy, there was calmness, there was peacefulness. Thank you so much for sharing those emotions with me. Well, some factors that affect our emotions could be that we're coming from a place of fatigue. Have you ever thought about how you feel when you're tired? That could be one place where your emotions are coming from. Yeah? So it could be fatigue. Another thing that could be affecting our emotions could be food and drink. Food and drink, yes, food and drink can affect our emotions. It could be the medication that you're on. Medication can affect our emotions. So let's just jump onto fatigue. You can feel irritable, you can feel impatient, you can feel angry. I am yet to hear somebody who is feeling happiness for being fatigued. You would give thanks for being fatigued because you've had a fruitful day. You're giving thanks. But joy and happiness would not be the words or the emotions that you'd be experiencing. Perhaps in your fatigue, as you're trying to do something and you're being interacted with people that you love, you are irritable. And you don't know why you're being irritable. In fact, the people around you are commenting, what is it? What is wrong? Why are you not embracing us and understanding and allowing us and empowering us in this moment? It's because you are being affected by fatigue. You're being impatient. You're not allowing someone to finish their sentence, someone to be autonomous and finish something that they started. You're interrupting. You're angry because things are moving too slow. You want to get over with it already so that we can move on, because you're coming from a place of being tired, fatigued. I say, remember to rest. When you're tired, switch off and rest. But just be aware that this is something that is affecting your emotions. So it is being fatigued. Another one is food and drink. Now, energy can be deceiving. Energy can be deceiving. You might look at a child who is high on sugars, whether it's cakes, it's sweets, it's soft drinks full of sugars, and you see the kind of energy that they're exhibiting. This energy is about to crash. Because with this kind of food and drink, the energy is only for a short while. It's not healthy for them, and it crashes. So it can be deceiving, and you think that someone is having a good time. Yes, they are. It is very short-lived, and it is not good for their body. And on the reverse, the lack of food and the lack of drink, because when hungry or thirsty, emotions can be short-lived also, until the satisfaction is met. Have you met somebody who, when they're angry, is actually very short-tempered? When they're hungry, they cannot think, so they feel overwhelmed. Maybe it's you. So hungry, thirsty, balance your intake. Balance your intake. Know what kind of foods to eat. Know when to eat these foods so that you are aware of the things that affect your emotions, being food and drink. Medication. I'm one of those people who will always read the contraindications before I take medicine, any medication, so that I know if I start to feel something other than healing, then I remember, it talked about dizziness, it talked about drowsiness, it talked about depression, it talked about mood swings, it talked about fatigue. So know your medication, guys. Know your medication. Whatever it is that you are taking in, know what the contraindication is. So those are just factors that can affect our emotion. And let's see what we have. Another comment here. Nancy says, yes, tomorrow is another. Irene says, what to do when you're in a space in your life where everyone is suspect because the COVID opened your eyes to insincerity in friendships and relationships. Nancy says hormonal imbalance affects emotions. Very true. Hormonal imbalance. So the fact that you're aware of what you're going through, Nancy, is important, and you begin to journal. And in response to Irene's question, her question is what to do when you're in that space in your life where everyone is suspect. This is your prerogative to have everybody suspect. Draw your boundaries, Irene. Learn to know who you need to let go. Why do you have these people in your environment, in your space? What were you hoping to get from them? What were your expectations? Revisit your expectations when you start journaling your emotions, and know that you need to let toxic relationships out of your life. You need to let suspect people out of your life. This is your life. You need to take ownership. That person is only owning up to what they know. That cannot be on you, Irene. If they choose to act in a certain way that is suspect, that is on them. What is on you is integrity. What is on you is responsibility, personal responsibility. What is on you is accountability. So I do hope that helps to answer your question, Irene. So as we consider the things that affect our emotions, that is one of the things, the space that you're in, the people who are in that space. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to step away? Are you going to choose to still be in that space and exit the people? Are you going to love them and leave them? The decision is yours. The writing is on the wall. You just need to take back control. So for every challenge, we must set conscious actions, solutions, so to speak. Setting up emotional rules as we come to the end of our session today, setting up emotional rules. What needs to happen for me to feel accepted? What needs to happen for me to feel accepted? This is just one example. List down a few things that need to happen. Internalize them. Let this be your guiding principle. You can communicate them to those in your inner circle, Irene, or whichever area you're looking to be accepted. These are the boundaries that you are drawing up. So as we come to the end, what area of self-management do you need to improve on? Is it taking back control? Is it being aware of the writing on the wall? Is it being accountable, having personal responsibility? Is it having integrity to your values, of your values? What area of self-management do you need to improve on? What steps will you take to improve in these areas? Will you look for a mentor? Will you look for a coach? Will you read up a little bit more? Will you continue to journal? How will you know that you are improving? How will you know that things are shifting? Is it that your emotions now will be more, the energy will be more flowing towards positive emotions as opposed to negative? So that when you're asked a question, what kind of emotions are welling up, you are quick to come up with positive emotions and not negative ones, positive scenarios and not negative ones. And the big one of the day is, when will you start? And I hope your answer is you will start now. Let's see if there are any more comments. There are no more comments. Well, our takeaways are here. I never leave you without takeaways. How to manage your emotions, take responsibility of your life. Freeze and look at things differently, and then be centered. In being centered, it is you understanding where your life is right now. The writing is on the wall. Are your emotions hijacking you, was our question today. I quote American billionaire and investor Ray Dalio. And Ray Dalio said, when you are centered, your emotions are not hijacking you. When you are centered, your emotions are not hijacking you. And I leave it to you. Episode 3 is about self-motivation, and I will see you in the next episode. In the meantime, remember to like our Facebook page to receive regular updates of these scheduled talks. Visit our website, LMC Consultancy, for more of our services. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, LMC Consultancy. Hit the notification button for prompts on new videos. My book is now available on Amazon in Kindle and paperback. It is called Awakening Self. All you need to do is Google my name, and you will come up with Awakening Self on Amazon. Get yourself a copy. Take a photograph and share it with me. I'll be super, super excited. Let us help build each other. And until our next episode, be kind to yourself and let us break the barrier, the bias.